Hi, everybody. This is Saad. Yesterday on my X feed, I posted the following post, which has thus far received 32.8 million views. I'm going to read it for you verbatim and then talk about some of the sequela of that post. I want you to stop and think about this for a moment. All of your children are being educated by academics, 99 to 99% of whom think that Kamala Harris would have been a far superior president to Donald Trump. These academics have used their minds to conclude that Harris better encapsulates the values of the United States. Choose your universities wisely, or better yet, send your children to whichever university Saad is at. I hear that he's great. Okay, so earlier today, I went to my LinkedIn uh, account and I saw a private message from a friend whom I truly love dearly, even though we haven't been in the same city for very long throughout our friendship. We originally met at Cornell many, many years ago, in the early 90s. We were fast friends during Cornell. Then after, when we went our separate ways, we stayed in touch. Then he came and hung out with me when I was at UC Irvine. Met my wife. Then many years later, in 2013, I reached out to him because I was visiting Atlanta. He was living there, and we went out to dinner. And now I was going to Savannah last week, and so I thought, oh, he might be in the area. Let me reach out to him. And I received an email, a message from him, a private one, where he basically said that in light of my positions regarding Trump, and he referenced specifically the tweet that I just read you, where I'm basically saying, look, all academics, 95 to 99% of them, think that Kamala Harris would have been a better president. He did not see a path forward for our friendship. And I repeatedly had mentioned to my wife throughout all the years that, of all people that I have met in my life, and I meet a lot of people, I really held a unique and special affection for him. There's a sweetness, a kindness to him that I always appreciated. By the way, he happens to be black. The reason why I say this is because in his final goodbye to me, he says, you're supporting someone that is, uh, you know, uh, targeting my community. Now, that could be taken in many ways, but certainly the black element is there because I know that a few years ago, I think when the George Floyd stuff was happening, I can't remember what had triggered it, but he had sent me something that was, white supremacy and so on. So I saw dark clouds in the future, but I never imagined that this person with whom I've had nothing but positivity, fun, kindness, love towards, and I'd like to say vice versa, he thought that I was now just beyond the pale. I was just morally damaged because I was saying something that could be construed as positive against the president that was targeting his community. Now, uh, I should mention also, by the way, before I go back to this gentleman, that my cousin, with whom I went through the Lebanese Civil War, my closest friend growing up in Lebanon, who is a cousin, also disowned me a few years ago when I, dared to have the audacity, the temerity of going on Tucker Carlson's show and then saying something that seemed to be warm about Tucker on my X feed. Thank you for your hospitality, Tucker. It was great for my family to meet you. And, he responds publicly, have you no shame and so on, and disowns me. We haven't spoken since. So a cousin disowned me because I dared accept an invitation from Tucker. And a friend of 30 plus years who I had nothing but the deepest of affections for said, there is no path for us moving forward. I replied, by the way, to him very politely. Let me just read you something uh, from The Parasitic Mind, page 172. If your Facebook friends are posting comments with which you disagree, engage them and offer an alternative viewpoint. Do not fear the possible loss of friendship. Anyone who is willing to end a relationship because of a reasoned difference of opinion is not worthy of your friendship. If you are sitting at your local pub having a conversation about a sensitive topic, do not refrain from speaking your mind. If your politicians are succumbing to suicidal political correctness, vote them out of office. Donald Trump won the United States presidency in 2016 because a silent electoral majority in the middle of America shouted from the ballot box, quote, "We are tired of being patronized. We are tired of politically correct platitudes. We are tired of identity politics and the ethos of victimhood. We are tired of the extraordinarily biased mainstream media." And by close quote, and by expressing their frustration on election day, they won. Now, Donald Trump won, I think, what was it, 77 million votes? He won all 7 swing states. He won the House. He won the Senate. He won the popular vote, which was the first time in many years. All of those people, according to my former black friend, are all morally deranged without a fault. He's not racist, you see, because he believes that no real black person could ever vote for Trump. And we don't forget that as Jews of color from Lebanon, we're, I guess, also people of color. So how could I, a person of color, be voting against the guy who is seeking to eradicate all of our communities? By the way, I subsequently wrote to my current, one of my current black friends, who is a neighbor who moved from San Francisco to Montreal with his wife, who used to be super anti woke and hated Trump, and now is a super pro Trump supporter. And I wrote to him a text. I have the text with me. I wrote to him. I said, here's what happened with this other gentleman. So I'm presuming that you're not a black man because you are for Trump. And he said, no, I am a white man. It's a figment of your imagination. He joked with me. He had humor. He used to be woke. Now he's no longer. He appreciates the fact that people can have differing opinions, change their opinions. My former friend doesn't. There is nothing more dangerous in the history of humanity than a parasitized mind. Take care, everybody.